And once that information is on the QSETI website, then they can then be these matters can be addressed by saints and angels and others. You also I've been to the 3 different union halls, and I did call the headquarters of the IBEW and informed them that I was in communication with Nikolai Tesla, Henry Miller, and several extraterrestrial races, and I had information that could lead to the betterment of the energy industry. They didn't even call me back. And if this is going to be done, it needs to be a collective decision by the body of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, as well as all life on Earth. Because we cannot leave it up to the administration due to issues of favoritism, control with money, and just plain corruption. So that's the deal. It has to be all at once, or I wouldn't even try it, because it just needs to be happen with synchronicity and intelligence and courage, and that's it. And as long as we can unite and do that, we can bring it through. I'm sure of it. So basically what you want to do is you'll want to identify the administration of all power companies and all unions that are working on this, so that when something does happen and they say, okay, well, we're going to lay everybody off, we can identify the beings doing that and just remove that 1 or 2 people from their position, and the body can continue with work as usual. This form of energy has been suppressed for thousands of years, and this planet is dying, and there's billions of people starving, and that's, you know, there's no other. Once you realize the importance of this, then there's nothing else to do. You'll want to create a document using the lexicon for a living being that you can find at the Ayn Rand Institute, and anybody who comes in who wants to be familiar with what's going on and the sorcery being performed, you would want to make sure that they are on the up and up, and they're willing to be as honest as you are, and that they understand the energy industry, because many people in the government right now who are controlling the energy industry do not understand what's happening. And we want to, you don't want to rely on somebody's got a PhD, so what? Somebody's got a badge, so what? Somebody's, you know, the head of a corporation somewhere, so what? You want to know who you're talking to. So that's basically the deal there. So once you have that ready, you want to create an environment where a sorcerer would want to work. You know, kind of like the same concept in that movie, If You Build It, They Will Come, with Kevin Costner, where he built that baseball field. It's the same concept here. You want to create an environment where a sorcerer would want to work, and then the sorcerer will come. So what environment would a sorcerer want? Well, what he wants, he's going to want approximately 4 or 5 people, the most honest linemen in each local. And you have to be willing to be telepathically honest. You don't have to be telepathic, but you have to be willing to go there and work at that level of honesty, because going from this is going to be a lot of responsibility on the part of whoever is doing this work, because a lineman, basically what they do is go out and set poles, string power lines, and that's a lot of responsibility of that. But once you're practicing sorcery, you're going to be able to build and maintain generating stations, and it is a huge responsibility to do that. And the people who choose to step up and do it should be telepathically honest with each other and be prepared to go there. So you want to dedicate one room to sorcery, so everything that happens in that room you can consider to be telepathic. And you want four or five linemen, the most honest in the local, and have them ready to go. Then you want to start off with 3 magnets, a set of clients, and a wiggy, and that's it. Just start from scratch. Now I know people that have 40 free energy devices sitting on the shelf collecting dust, but they cannot just give these things to you, because that's like giving a 5-year-old the keys to a Mack truck, and the 5-year-old is definitely going to crash the Mack truck. Whereas if he knew how to drive it and build it, he could work that equipment responsibly. And it's the same thing, you want to build it from the ground up. So another good idea would be to make extraterrestrial contact, and your sorcerer should be able to take care of that. And then once you have that all prepared and you are ready for a sorcerer, very simple. You just got to make sure you're absolutely totally prepared. You got the room ready, you got the guys ready to be telepathically honest, and then you take a wooden stake, 2 small down ground staples, and a piece of cardboard about 2 feet by 2 feet. You staple the cardboard to the wooden stake, and with a black magic marker you write "Sorcerer Wanted," and you put that stake in the ground outside of the Union Hall by the road. When you do that, make sure you do it all at once and do it on a planetary scale, so we can overwhelm whatever forces are going to try to prevent this from coming through. And within 1 week your sorcerer should be there. Now what's your sorcerer going to look like? It could, when you begin practicing sorcery, sorcerers look all different. It could be a 7-year-old kid with little LED lights flashing on his shoes, who has memories of energy engineering in Andromeda, another life. It could be a 70-year-old guy with long beard, long hair, pushing a shopping cart full of cans. It could be a 25-year-old girl with pointy ears and fairy wings on her back. You don't know. But basically what's going to happen when you put that sign on the ground is the Union Hall is going to fill up with beings from other dimensions, and they're going to be reading your mind and finding out who the best sorcerer is for you, and then basically your sorcerer will show up. And that's how that will go. And it's just important that this happens when the 4D, or when the collective is formed in each Union Hall. I know that a lot of people are not prepared or willing to go telepathic because they got a lot of secrets, and that's just how they live their life. But what they can do, even if you're not willing to go telepathic, is support the people who are. And that is very important, because they're going to need all the help and support they could possibly get. So then basically what I would do is I would research the 20 over unity devices. An over unity device is a device that produces more power than it uses. And what you want to do is collectively research all over unity devices and pick the top 5. And a transverter and a rotoverter, that's available to see on the computer, and that just gives you an idea of an example of a free energy device. Although you want to kick it up a few notches from there. Then what you want to do is you want to make all circuit maps on the planet available to this collective in every Union Hall, so that if something goes down on the planet, things are handled professionally and intelligently. I know if you've been a lineman for any amount of time, you know you go out on storm duty, and a lot of times you'll sit there for 2 or 3 days without even going out in the field, and all the power's out. So you may very well have to switch control of who is in charge of all the local power companies, your local power companies. So you want to know who is in the administration of the union halls, and you want to know who's in the administration of the power companies and other utility companies, and be prepared to switch them out if they're not doing things nicely, which for a long time they have not been. Also, in the process of developing these devices, most likely the sorcerers will be in communication with each other at all the different union halls, but you also want to update that QSETI website and stay in close communications with the other union halls, so that if one union hall makes progress with a specific device, they can tell all the other union halls so everybody can make the same progress. So say you make a little progress in California, everybody will get it. Then you make a little progress in Connecticut, everybody will get it. Then a little progress in Ohio, everyone will get it. And that being the case, free energy will come through very, very quickly. Just as long as you stay organized and honest with each other. It's also a good idea to stay informed of the developments of the Orion project with QSETI. Also, what I would do is I would create among the collective, create a mission statement which clarifies the responsibilities of a lineman or energy worker who chooses by their own free will to begin living as a saint, because basically that's pretty much what saints do. They're just honest, and they work with a deep level of truth and handle the biggest problems on the planet. And that's basically what you're going to be doing. And with a complete understanding of the moral and ethical responsibilities that come with working on vacuum energy. That's going to be a huge amount of moral and ethical responsibility, and you want those responsibilities clearly defined. You also want to communicate with all other saints in all different industries. Like say, we did just initiate a global currency reset and address law enforcement and military. So basically anybody, regardless of what industry you're in, you want to support each other between the industries. So basically anyone who's willing to be telepathically honest and understands this level of reality on a planetary scale, a four-dimensional scale, you want to help each other between the industries, and that's very important. Also, when you begin working on free energy, you will have no choice but to spiritually develop. It's just, you're dealing with the source field, and when you're doing sorcery, you spiritually develop. You begin to gain a very good understanding of this reality. And along with becoming telepathic, what I would recommend to journeymen, or for anybody working on free energy, is to begin electro-telekinesis training. And that is where you can divert the flow of electricity using nothing but the power of your mind. So basically you could walk in a room and turn the light on without touching anything. Just think, turn on, and the light turns on. That's called electro-telekinesis. And I would begin that training as soon as you begin working on free energy. That stuff is going to go hand in hand. So there's a couple of things you can YouTube. I mean, if this is your first exposure to free energy, here's a couple of videos you can watch on YouTube. They're kind of outdated, but it's a good thing to get your feet wet, and you're